Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. I am Professor Hassan and you are watching my channel Professor Hassan Hamayu. Statistical Officer and Lecturer Statistics written test preparation is incomplete without learning the concepts of the topic of sampling. Dear students, today we will discuss important questions of the topic of sampling. Before starting today's vital lecture, I request everyone subscribe to my channel, like and share my channel and click the bell icon for the notifications of the next important videos. The topic is sampling and the first concept is sampling. It is the process of selecting a part of the population with the belief that it represents the whole population, and sample is the part of the population which is selected with the belief that it represents the whole population. For example, if we are interested in the average marks of the students of the Punjab University, we take a sample of 50 students and we find out the average marks. That part which we selected from the whole population of 20,000 candidates, that part of 50 students is a sample, and the procedure of selecting that part will be called sampling. Then a very important concept is statistical population. It is the totality or aggregate of all the units which have some common characteristic of interest. For example, if we are interested in all those people, all those employees of a factory who have their wages more than 90,000 rupees, we have some common characteristic of interest. We are interested in the female students. We are interested in all those people who have age more than 50 years. That is the statistical population. It should not be mixed with the population. It is the totality, it is the aggregate of all the units which have some common characteristic of interest, in which we are interested. We are interested in the particular characteristic, the quality of the people. That should be the statistical population. Next is finite population. If we have the countable number of values, countable units of the population, that will be finite population. And if the units are uncountable, that will be infinite. For example, all the numbers between 5 and 10, that will be the example of infinite population. All the students of the university, that will be finite population. All the chairs which have been used in the conference, that will be finite population. Then the next one is existent population. If all the units of a population are existing physically, we have the concrete values, this will be existent population. Number of copies, number of road accidents, number of students in a class, number of teachers in the staff room, all these will be existent population. Then the next one is hypothetical population. If you can just think about the results of an experiment, all these units which are not physically existing, these will be hypothetical population. If you throw a coin 10 times, the results will be hypothetical population. The results are not concrete, these are not existing physically, and you are assuming that will be hypothetical population. Then the next one is discrete population. If you can count the number of units, these will be discrete. If you cannot count, that will be continuous population. Then the next one is, what is the purpose of sampling? Why do we do sampling? There are two main purposes of sampling. Number one is, actually we want to find out the reliability of the estimates, and that is achieved by the standard error. Then we want to get the sufficient information about the population with the help of the sample, with the help of the part of that population, and we have the belief that it represents the whole population. We cannot take the whole population, that is complete enumeration, but we take a part of the sample, and with the help of that we want to examine the information about the parameters of the population. These are the two main purposes of sampling. Then what are the advantages of sampling? It saves our money, it saves our time, it saves our labor, our power. And when there is a danger of the destruction of any unit of the population, for example, we want to investigate the lifetime of an electric bulb produced by a company, then we use sampling, because there is the danger of, there can be the error of destroying any unit, so we use sampling. Then the next one is sample design. Actually, dear students, sample design is a plan which is used to select the sample and the further estimation procedure. It is a plan which helps you to make the steps for the selection of the sample and the estimation procedure. Then the next one is sample survey. If you collect the information, if you get the information about the population with the help of the sampling method, that will be called sample survey. And these two concepts are very important for every written test of statistics as well as interview. What is the difference between target population and sampled population? Dear students, if we are interested to know the standard of education, present standard of education from all the students of the colleges of the province Punjab, there are millions, there are hundreds of colleges in the whole Punjab. We take a sample of 10 colleges because we have shortage of time, we have shortage of labor. Then what do? We take a sample of 10 colleges and we just take the information from all these sample units. We take the information from these 10 samples. This is a sampled population. If we take a sample from a population, that is sampled population, and on the behalf of that population we will to draw conclusion about a population, and that is the population of all the colleges of the province Punjab. That is our target population, the population about which we wish to draw conclusion, that is our target population. And the sampled population is the one from which we take a sample to draw conclusions about the target population. All the students of the colleges of the province Punjab will be our target population, and the sample is actually 10 colleges from which we take a sample to draw conclusions about the target population. That will be sampled population, a very important concept. And after that, probability sampling and non-probability sampling. When every unit in the population has non-zero probability of being included in the sample, it will be probability sampling. And non-probability sampling is it is a technique when unit can be selected without the use of the probability, when you use the personal judgment for getting the units in the population, for including the units in the population, that will be non-probability sampling. And then a very important question is types of probability sampling. These will help you in solving the multiple choice questions in the written test. There is simple random sampling, there is stratified random sampling, there is systematic sampling, there is cluster sampling. First one is simple random sampling. When each unit in the population has an equal chance of being selected in the sample, and each sample has an equal chance of being included as a sample, we have simple random sampling. And then stratified random sampling. And for simple random sampling, we use goldfish bowl method, we use the random number table method, we use the computer method for taking the sample values. Then the second one is stratified random sampling. Whenever our population is heterogeneous, whenever there is a large variation in the data, for example, you are interested to know the average salary of the employee of the factory. The salary can be 10,000, 20,000, 50,000, 1 lakh, 2 lakh, 5 lakh, 10 lakh, 20 lakh. There is large variation in the data. So what do? We cannot apply simple random sampling. Now, simple random sampling is used when the population is homogeneous, when the units are very close to each other. Now, there is large variation in the salaries of the people of a factory. What do? We make the homogeneous groups of this population. For example, if I tell you, we make 5 homogeneous groups: G1, G2, G3, G4, G5. salary between 10 to 20, 30, you can say 30 to 60 will be over here, then 60 to 90 will be over here, 90 above, and 1 lakh and 10,000 and above. You make 5 groups of that data which was given, the salary was given. Now these strata should be homogeneous internally and they should be heterogeneous externally. A very important concept. There should be less variation within strata and there should be much variation between strata, because that is the group of all the people who have salary between 10 to 30, 10,000, 15,000, 12,000, 17,000, 25,000, and that is the group of 30 to 60. These should be homogeneous internally. There should be less variation within the strata and there should be much variation between the strata. That should be heterogeneous. Now after making the strata, after making the homogeneous groups, we take the units from every strata with the help of simple random sampling and then we combine it and we have a sample with the help of stratified random sampling. We take the units from each stratum with the help of simple random sampling and then we combine it. It is stratified. Then after this we have systematic sampling. The word is saying that we have a system. We use a system, a method which is used to collect the sample from the population. For example, there are 200 shops, it is capital N, and you want to take the sample of 10 shops. You want to gather the information, you want to collect the information with the help of 10 shops only out of 200 shops. First of all, you will have to find out the K, which is obtained by n over small n, 200 over 10, and that will be 20. Now from first 20 shops you will select up a sample, you will select a unit with the help of simple random sampling. For example, 15th shop is selected. Then what is K? You will have to add, the first unit is 15th shop, then you will have to add this much. 15 plus 20 is 35. Then 35th shop will be selected for getting the information. Then 35 plus 20, it will be 55th shop will be selected for getting the information about the population parameters. Then 55 plus 20, that will be 75th shop will be selected, and so on. So what did you learn? In the systematic sampling, we select a sample with the help of some system, and for example there are 100 observations and you want to get the sample of 20 observations. First of all, you will divide 100 by 20, 5 is the answer. First unit will be selected with the help of simple random sampling with the help of this method, and from the first 5 units then you will have to add 20 in every unit, and then in that way you will select a systematic sample. Then the next one is cluster sampling. Dear students, what did we do in the stratified sampling? When the population was heterogeneous, there was large variation in the data, we make its homogeneous groups which have less variation within strata and they have much variation between strata. They were homogeneous internally, they were heterogeneous externally. And now cluster sampling, like the stratified random sampling, we make the groups of the population. These are called clusters. For example, it is cluster number 1, C1, C2, C3, C4, C5, and they should be heterogeneous